The concept for the Student Opportunities Platform really stems from my experience in a classroom in West Baltimore at a school called Furman Templeton. Over the past 3 years, I have seen so many students come into my classroom, and they've demonstrated an unbelievable potential. So I think about a student, her name is Angel. Angel, in my 4th grade classroom, she reads at a 7th grade level, she performs math at a 7th grade level, but unfortunately, Angel's potential is only known within a 5-block radius in West Baltimore. And I wanted to create a platform where the teacher could help share that potential with not only people in her community, but also with other communities in Baltimore and also with people across the nation. This platform is multifaceted. It's multifaceted in the sense that it A, allows students to learn how to market their strengths with the guidance of their teacher, and B, it allows them to fund educational necessities and opportunities.
If students have the opportunity to share their work with other communities, I think that it would be a great motivator toward student achievement, especially intrinsically. It's one thing to share your work with the people that you see every day inside and outside of school, because when we think about it, the teachers are the visitors. These students grow up together, they spend years together, so they are with each other all the time. And it's one thing for them to share work amongst themselves and set a standard, and it's another thing to share that work in communities across the United States, across their city, and even abroad, to see new standards or different standards and set new and different expectations.
I think it's also cool because we at Patterson Park Public Charter School try to do so many things that go beyond what the regular curriculum is. It's not just reading, writing, math, and so on and so forth. It's about trying to integrate the arts, integrate citizenship, integrate technology. And it's not always easy for our families to be able to get those resources to continue that over the summer or over the weekend.
Yes, we teach reading and science and social studies and all of those things, but hey, this is the big picture. And I think that your platform helps express the idea that this is why we teach reading, ultimately. This is why we teach math, ultimately, so that you can be a productive and a working citizen who has something to offer the community. You're becoming an asset as opposed to a dependent.
So when I talk about educational necessities and opportunities, I'm talking about things such as take-home literacy sets, take-home math fluency sets, any item that enhances the at-home learning environment, which is particularly important for our communities here in Baltimore. I'm talking about outside of the classroom learning opportunities, whether it be a debate camp or whether it be a technology integrated sports camp, or whether it be an ACT prep course or an SAT prep course, or even if it's just a college tuition package where a student is already starting to accumulate funds in 5th grade for college, and by 9th grade, after having used the platform, they've accumulated $10,000. They know that X amount of people have invested in them, and college at that point is much more of a reality for them.
I think one thing that teachers do is we do a lot more than teaching. There's a lot of mentoring and things of that nature. So I think a lot of times you need someone to guide you through this process, to know what they need, how they need it, someone who's intimately the knowledge of how they learn, what would best suit them. Being a teacher in Baltimore here, we see this year after year after year, the same kind of kids missing the same kind of opportunities.
Like as a teacher in Baltimore City, that Student Opportunities provides a really awesome platform, an opportunity to bring resources to my students that they don't have access to normally at home. So I think of students having more access to things like flashcards or online tutoring and books, subscriptions to magazines. I think that those are all things my students often struggle to secure in their home environment, and I think Student Opportunities is a great way to bring that into the home.
Out-of-classroom learning opportunities like the Loyola Reading Program, CTY from Johns Hopkins, and EPGY online from Stanford University are excellent in supporting the academic achievements in struggling and gifted students, but they are not readily available to students in our area because of their high costs.
You're not investing in like a certain item or a prep book or course material, you're investing in the student. And every student's different and every student needs different things.
I think that Student Opportunities provides a really exciting opportunity for me as a teacher to get access for my students to programs over the summer and other learning opportunities outside of school.
Then the teacher's also going to help select what that is, and then this community of donors, people online, are going to be able to make that into a possibility. So the student isn't just going to get that feedback from the teacher, they're also going to get it from a broader community of people out there. And altogether, I think that's going to help validate the school's practice. It's going to make that student feel as if they've got more connectivity with the world around them. And it's going to help that teacher get the type of experiences that most schools aren't able to provide given the budgets they have.
As a community school coordinator with University of Maryland Promise Heights, we are in partnership with Furman Templeton Preparatory Academy, and as such, my role is to really identify resources and services that are needed for our school community. What we know is that in a community such as Upton Druid Heights in inner city Baltimore, we recognize that there are so many competing priorities that academics is not always focused on the way that is needed for our students. And so Student Opportunities provides a great platform for teachers to really join and support parents in connecting their students with academic resources and services that could really promote academic achievement.
Yeah, I mean, there's countless stories. I have so many students here that have so much potential that, you know, is just squelched because they just don't have access to the same type of things that their peers right up the road do, right? I mean, we've always, and we try as best we can to provide those opportunities to kids here, but there's limits to what we can do. One of the things that we had talked about was the ability of the Student Opportunities platform to, you know, be a nest egg for students who are, you know, interested in one day going to college. And knowing that there are people around the city and around the country who want to invest in your growth and believe in you as a student and want to help fund your enrollment into a college of your choice, I think those are opportunities that many of the students that I taught in the past haven't had, and the students that I currently work with now, you know, those are things that I worry about.
The opportunity for students to start developing an account where they can pay for school flat out and not have to worry about loans would probably motivate students substantially and give them a real goal to work towards. If we start early at this age, teaching students, hey, we need to save, we need to get ready for this, you're gonna have to cover this expense, then they go into it with a real mindset of what to expect.
My educational career began in East Baltimore, teaching at a middle school at the corner of Montford and Chase Streets. And now I find myself at my old high school. It's a Catholic prep school in Towson. And this change has caused me to reflect quite often about the achievement gap, sometimes also known as the opportunity gap. My former school tried to get students in the best high school possible, hoping that one day down the line they might get into a college. The school that I work at now, there's an assumption that these students will go to college. The question is, how good of a college will they get into? And there truly is a massive gap in what's provided to my students currently, just naturally, at the school, by parents, by communities, family members, and what my former students were able to access. And I find myself thinking about one student in particular. His name was Richard. I taught him in 7th and 8th grade at my former school. And from the first day, he told me that he wanted to attend the very school that I teach at now. To do this, I told him would require quite a bit. I spoke with his mother as well. He had to achieve high grades. He had to show up to school every day, keep solid character, but he also needed other resources. He needed study time and materials for the Catholic entrance school exam, which was unique and distinct from the other exams his peers were taking. So in conjunction with his mother, we paid for these various materials. We worked with Richard with a lot of grit and determination on Richard's part. He was able to get into this school. But I can't help but think how he might have done if we'd had student opportunities to rely on. To have a community of donors working with Richard as an individual, helping him develop a profile, getting resources he needed.
So this vision I had, I knew that there were a lot of steps to take, and there's a lot of technical expertise involved. And one of the first things I did is I established a partnership with the computer science department at Loyola. And the computer science department at Loyola was very receptive. They were very enthusiastic about our project. And I partnered with a student named Megan Gansfus under the direction of Dr. Cybern Isaacson.
To create an effective crowdfunding platform in the domain of education, I studied Donors Choose and Wishbone carefully, and I looked at the different ways that they were able to gain support for students and classrooms. So in order to do the internal testing, I wanted to make sure that first the individual pieces worked well. So for example, adding a student, I was able to create a student profile. And then also I wanted to look at the bigger picture. So integration testing. I wanted to make sure that once a student was added, the correct people were able to see that. So it was really about checking the individual small pieces and then the whole system as a unit.
My name is Chris Foran. I'm Director of Digital Strategy with the Canton Group in Baltimore. We are Baltimore's leading web and software development firm. The Student Opportunities platform was attractive to the Canton Group because for quite some time we had been looking for a project to work on as a company where we could give back to the Baltimore community, specific back to students in Baltimore City. One of the other really attractive aspects of this project for the Canton Group was that Bobby came to us with a well thought out business plan and an actual prototype that he had built out for this web application that he was looking to build. And quite honestly, that's about 3 or 4 stages beyond what most of our corporate clients come to us with. So it was really a clearly outlined vision for the project and for the business of it. And for us, it was just a matter of taking our technical expertise and applying it to his well thought out plan.
The second reason why our platform is unique is that it's highly accessible to teachers. We're creating a platform where teachers can guide students in marketing their strengths and acquire funding for educational necessities that align with their academic needs. We're creating a platform where the people who spend the most amount of time with these children, the teachers, are going to be implementing these practices and providing these services for these students.